Hi once again to Understanding and Using Excel. This is number 3 in the How-To series, and we at United Computers are pleased to make this presentation for you. First of all, a bit of background information. What we're looking at today will be the use of two of the more advanced features of Excel, YearFrac and Network Days. Just remember that you can always pause the demonstration to read the screen contents, or you can view the screen in full screen mode if you so desire. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel so you'll be notified automatically of many more Excel hints, tips and procedures to come. So let's look at the demonstration. Remember that where you see a little red triangle in the top right hand corner of a cell, that indicates that there is a comment in that cell. Hover over the cell and you will see a comment which will give you background to what is happening. So the first thing we'll look at is YearFrac. And we use YearFrac to calculate the fraction of the year represented by the number of whole days between two dates, the start date and the end date. The formula requires a minimum of 2 arguments separated by a comma. Arguments are those codes which appear between the brackets in a formula. YearFrac requires a start date and an end date. These dates should be entered in the formula using the date function. For example, date followed by an opening bracket, year, comma, month, comma, day, and then close the bracket. There is an alternative method below which we'll look at later. An example of the formula will be as follows. To find the fraction of a year between, say, May 23, 2012 and July 3, 2012. And that formula will be equal YearFrac, open a bracket, date, open another bracket, enter the year, comma, the month, comma, and the date. Close the bracket, type a comma, the word date again, open a bracket, and the same as before, the year, comma, month, comma, and then the day, followed by 2 closing brackets, because the opening and the closing brackets must, of course, balance. So let's have a look at an actual example. An employee qualifies for 20 days per annum annual leave. He or she has worked for the period February 1, 2013 to August the 4th, 2013. What leave entitlement is involved? So we enter in some labels here, start date, end date, and the entitlement in days. Then we enter the date here in those 2 cells. And then in this cell, when I press the enter key and look up here in the formula bar, I see the formula is equal, open a bracket, YearFrac. That is the name of the function. A function is simply a pre-written formula if you like. Open a bracket, and then we use the date syntax or grammar as we saw back in the comment, and we had to type an extra closing bracket because the brackets must balance, as I mentioned before, and then we've multiplied by the number 20 because that person is entitled to 20 days annual leave. So the formula in cell C15 calculates the fraction of the year with YearFrac and then multiplies that fraction by 20 to give us 10.2 days. An alternative method would be to type the start date in short date format, the end date in short date format, and then the fraction of the year. You'll notice here that the dates in C23 and C24 are in short date format to comply with the required grammar or syntax of the function. So the formula in this case will be equal YearFrac B23, comma, B24 within brackets. And when I press enter, I see the answer is 0.51. So that was the number that was multiplied by 20 to give me the entitlement in days here. Just a comment, folks, note that the short dates used in the example are in Australian format. You can probably tell I'm an Australian by my accent, where I use day, month, year. But if you're using US format, as of course many of you will be doing, then you use month, day, year. But the result will be exactly the same. Network days. I use network days to calculate the number of working days excluding weekends and public holidays, because network days knows when the Saturdays and the Sundays fall. So it works on a 5-day working week. And it will work out those number of working days, excluding weekends and public holidays, between two dates. But of course, Excel needs to know what the public holidays are. So this function requires 3 arguments: the start date, the end date, and a range of cells which include the public holidays. And you'll see in the example, the company needs to know how many working days there are between January the 1st, 2013 and December the 31st, 2013, for example. And we'll say that there are 5 public holidays in that period which do not fall on weekends. So we enter in the first day of the year, last day of the year in this example. The public holidays we're saying are falling on those days. There's one there for Christmas. And the number of working days, the formula of that cell is equal network days, J14, that one, comma, J15, that one. So there's the first and last days. And then we dragged down through the cells here from that cell down to that cell because we needed to put the range in for the public holidays. Don't enter the cells individually followed by commas because you will receive an error message in that cell. So I know now that there are 256 working days in the period 1st of January to the 31st of December in 2013, not counting weekends and not counting public holidays. Thank you once again for watching, guys. Keep an eye out for the next in the series.